Hi, this is Greg Hudson, host of All About Leesburg and Loudoun, the podcast. The podcast interviews local politicians, business owners, musical acts, and everyday citizens in what makes Leesburg and Loudoun a great place to visit and live. Welcome to today's episode. This episode of All About Leesburg and Loudoun is sponsored by the Leesburg Public House. Go see Chef Mark Morocco and Kim Ross. Together, they've created a comfortable and beautiful restaurant right in Leesburg using reclaimed woods, antiques, and local metal art. Chef Mark uses his Italian heritage and his love for fresh, seasonal ingredients to create a menu that pleases almost any palate. The Leesburg Public House in Leesburg, Virginia. Call to make your reservations today. Their phone number is 703-777-6333. The Leesburg Public House. All right. Hi, everybody. This is Greg Hudson with All About Leesburg and Loudoun, the podcast. JC, you have inspired me. We're with JC Silvey of Inside Loudoun. You're kind of the man about town.
Greg.
Come on,
Don't
dude.
go there.
You are the mini celebrity here in Leesburg.
You just couldn't resist, could you? You just had to do it. Put me on the spot right in the beginning and make me look like an idiot.
I had to make you laugh, right? So JC and I, we have become friends over the course of a couple of years. You've got an incredible page, Inside Loudoun. You were the guy that was flying drones all across the town. And we just naturally became connected, and have become, I would say, some friends, right?
Yeah. Like it's funny how we met just over a common Facebook page putting out Loudoun content, right? And we just had to meet each other. It's funny. So the first time we met was right here in Leesburg Public House, which is one of my favorite restaurants.
Absolutely, one of mine too.
And they're very generous to host us today, which is cool.
Absolutely, we're very thankful for that. So we are at a great ressrestaurant, and every time we get together, we start to talk. So let's hope that this podcast doesn't become a 3-hour conversation. No. Our wives will be like, where the heck have you gone?
We're going to have to bring some beers in then.
We'll get drunk.
If we're going to be here that long.
So I'm really excited. This is a brand new thing for me.
It's cool.
You know, and I wanted to talk to you because you really are kind of the man about town, and you have really changed, I think, the face of Leesburg and even Loudoun County by really sharing some really cool content. But what a lot of people don't know is who the heck is this guy that's walking around town,
and why, right?
Yeah, and what are you doing? So just, let's start off by you sharing a little bit about your life.
Sure.
And kind of how we got here, right?
Yeah, sure. I graduated from the Naval Academy back in '88. Went on to be a Navy attack pilot, flew off carriers back in the early 90s, mid-90s. Did a tour with on the USS America, and then another one on the USS Eisenhower. Got out of the Navy in '96 and got hired by United Airlines. That was my dream job. Love flying airplanes. That's what I was trained to do. My whole life was revolving around flying airplanes for a living, and that's what I wanted to do. And 9/11, I was on my way to Los Angeles in a 757 from the East Coast, and never got to Los Angeles. We ended up diverting into Chicago that morning of 9/11, and I was stuck there for 5 days at the Hilton at O'Hare Airport.
Wow.
Watching continuous loops of those airplanes going into the buildings. And I came out of it really worried about my job. That was really the only thing I knew how to do. I have a degree in economics, but never did anything with it. And so I was really worried after 9/11. Kind of similar to what a lot of people are right now. Like, what is this going to mean for us and the economy and the jobs that we all hold? And again, the travel industry is right in the middle of it right now with this virus. So it's scary. I've been through it. It's really deja vu. I've been through it before. We ended up, or actually not we, but me. After 9/11, I got my appraiser's license.
Cool.
I started doing residential appraisals. And then about 5 years ago, I moved most of the business into doing listings here in Leesburg and Loudoun County. So
very cool.
That's how I segued into the present job that I guess I'm doing two things at the same time. I
so
fly.
you're still a pilot.
Yeah, I still fly. I go to Europe on usually Monday afternoon. I leave for Europe Monday around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, land in some European country Tuesday morning. I spend a full day at some of the executive lounge at the airport there or at the hotel, and I get a full day work in, actually really productive because nobody's bugging me. I've got my phone, I've got my laptop, and everything works just great over in Europe.
Right.
And I come back on Wednesday afternoon and jump right into the real estate gig. So, it keeps me busy, but, it's just my norm. It's just what I've come to expect now. It's just how I live.
So many times I'll see content on, on your page. And it seems like you're just here in town.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, 1 minute you're, at a restaurant, but really you're overseas. So tell me a little bit about, you've obviously adapted tremendously from what happened on 9/11.
Right.
It scared a lot. It scared all of us. It scared us. We weren't sure.
Yeah.
And now we're in a very similar situation. So what was it that was really... Did you just decide at that moment that at any moment your career could be impacted as a pilot and you just needed to pivot a little bit?
Definitely, right. Like United actually was went into Chapter 11. I mean, we were bankrupt. We were just on the edge of surviving, and I wasn't sure if... It's just really hard at that point to go start over at an airline. We all work based on a seniority system, so it really doesn't matter how good you are. It matters when you got hired. So that I wasn't going to start over at that point. I was going to have to do something else. And I love real estate. I enjoy it. The tough part for me was the marketing aspect of it, which I didn't think most real estate agents do very well or had done very well. And I thought there was like a little bit of an opportunity for me to jump into doing some content marketing, which nobody else was doing at the time. And that's when I started shooting drone video of Loudoun County. And I started my first page. It was called Leesburg from Above. And it was this drone video like once a week. I would show, downtown, I did downtown Leesburg and got like 100,000 views and people loved it. And I did Oatlands or Russ Manor or golf courses or Potomac River during the, the fall season or whatever. Some really cool perspective kind of stuff. But after about a year, I just couldn't shoot any more of it. It was like, I kind of felt like I ran out of stuff to shoot. And I thought I was going to crash the damn thing. So I was like, and then I'd really be in trouble.
So this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So I got a drone a couple of years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah. Well, you said, Hudson, you said, dude, you've got to be careful because the Leesburg Airport's right over here.
Did I really? I don't remember that.
You did. And I never flew the damn thing again. Okay. I mean, and my wife got me this great gift. And then I was like, JC told me not to fly.
Oh man, let's go out and fly the thing.
We might, and if we crash it, it won't matter.
It's yours, Greg. I don't really care.
So tell me real quick. You were on the news. I saw you once on the news. Not that I'm a JC Silvey groupie or anything.
No.
But I saw you on the news talking about.
That was so funny. Yeah. It was like Air France had a close air encounter. Yeah. Close. It was a near miss with the drone coming into Dulles, and I got this call from this young reporter at NBC News. Hey, we heard you shoot drone. Can we come out and talk to you? And I thought it was like joke, or I thought it was like maybe a school project for some kid at like the community college or something like that. But they came out and he interviewed me about drones, and I'm flying my drone around, just showing it. And they're, it's just pretty, a pretty basic, 2-minute interview. And then I was at that night I was at a pub. I was just having a beer, and all of a sudden he calls me up and goes, "Hey, it's good to be on the 6 o'clock news."
Oh, wow.
And, originally I ran on the 5. And he goes, "Yeah, it just got picked up by the 6. I'm like, "All right, cool." And then he calls me back later and goes, "Hey, Lester Holt just picked it up for the,
Are you serious?
For the NBC Nightly News." And right then my phone blew up with all my buddies from all over the world, Navy buddies. Like, "Hey, cool. I'm just seeing your ugly face on the NBC News," so it was pretty cool. It was neat.
That's pretty crazy. I did not know that story. I mean, I just remember sitting there and all of a sudden you're like flying your drone on the news. That's funny. Crazy. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize where that was going either. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
So, obviously we became connected many years ago through, again, our mutual love for, for what you do and your media. one thing, I guess, it's kind of interesting, and this is kind of going over to our, a little bit of our sales career, because we're kind of connected.
Sure,
We're both in sales. What you have figured it out, right? You differentiate, I think. I mean, I know you're a humble guy, but what? So you figured it out kind of early on through the use of the drone to differentiate yourself a little bit, right? Or am I wrong?
Okay. And I have no formal background with marketing. I have zero. But I've become fascinated with it. I love reading books about marketing right now, and I think the time is this to. We're at that point where we need to break the rules, right? Before it was all about interrupting people's lives and shoving a message in front of their face and just hoping that they would appreciate your product or want to buy your product or whatever it was. And I didn't want to do that. I felt like I had to, I needed to capture their attention, and I needed to show them something that they were interested in. And through that, I think they would maybe get to know me, maybe get to like me a little bit. And at that point, when it comes down to sales, you need people to know you, like you, and trust you. And through the social media platform, I think I could get people to know me a little bit and maybe like me in some ways. Not always, but the trust part would come later. But then you were 2 steps into it already. So I needed to show things that were interesting, and drone video was something that I always loved looking at.
Absolutely,
I would look at anything from a drone. I really would. I would just capture my attention, just because I still sit at a window when I fly because I like looking out the window. That's
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know if I was the only one who appreciated that, but I'm not. There's a lot of people who like that point of view, and so the drone video did awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just got tired of it. I just got bored with it, really. And
your content was always awesome.
It was good. It was good stuff, right? Yeah. And so people would watch it, and but I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to explore downtown Leesburg and Loudoun and all the things that make it a cool place from the ground. And I started with my phone, and this was like a kind of a gutsy move, right? Like putting your phone in front of your face and doing a Facebook Live, which we're kind of doing right now with the video, but it's not live, right?
Yeah.
But you're shooting video. But imagine if this was live right now, everything, that'd be tough.
I mean, listen, I'm losing my hair. It's not good, but come on.
So I would take out my phone, in the beginning.
Were you like the king of the selfie?
Well, it was Facebook Live, because Facebook Live was hugely popular. I mean, Facebook would just pump that out to just so many people if you were willing to do it, if you had the guts to do it. And I would just do that, and I would be walking down, in front of Delirium the day they opened, and doing a Facebook Live, remember 14 Loudoun before it was 14 Loudoun, it was Captain Catocton's Crabs and Concoctions.
I do remember that, yes.
So I did that, and I butchered the living daylights out of that. I just stumbled my way through it, right? I didn't get the name of the restaurant, right? It was like a tongue twister, right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, people just crushed me on social,
that's
right?
a shame.
But it was the reality of it is when you do that, you're putting yourself out there. That's just the way it is, and I just had to accept it. But it did really well. The video did awesome. There was 30,000 people watching it, and sure, there was maybe 20 of them who thought I was an idiot. You know? Granted, so I wasn't all that good, but I went for it, right? And I think most people just weren't willing to do it, right? They weren't willing to take the chance, and I had nothing to lose.
Yeah, I remember when we first met, you were like, "Okay, Hudson, what's going on with this all about Leesburg and Loudoun thing?" And I kind of gave you the background, which we won't go into today. It was all about just trying to capture a moment and capture the imagination of people, and for whatever reason that is. But what's interesting about your site is I think you have over 8,000 followers, or is it more now?
Yeah, it's about 8,000.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's amazing.
And really, followers aren't that big of a deal anymore because Facebook is all pay to play, right? And so there was a time when it was important to grow your following and size your page. Now it doesn't matter. I mean, Facebook is going to throttle that way back, and 8,000 people in a Facebook, are going to follow the Facebook page. Maybe Facebook might show it to maybe 800 or so if it's good content. So it really has to be paid paid content now, but it's in the big scheme of things, it's incredibly cheap, right?
Yeah,
It's just pennies to put content in front of people, and it's a very targeted group of an audience, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't show it to Fairfax or Prince William. I mean, it's a Loudoun audience only who look at it, and that's just the purpose of it.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great marketing tool, right? Facebook, you know, they have your attention and they know everything about you.
That's right. They do, right?
So
yeah.
There's no better platform, in my opinion. You know, obviously Instagram is good as well, but
that's right.
you know, I try to leverage that for my company, my Silvey residential company, selling real estate, and I can't continually just put listings in front of people and think that they're going to come back and watch it. I mean, eventually they're going to say, I don't want to see this crap anymore. I'm like tired of seeing these listings. Like, I don't really care. But if I can manage that with other cool content, like a restaurant or a brewery or a winery or a drone video or, you know, whatever it is, something that's interesting, people will like stick around and they'll watch it.
So that's a really smart point that you make, right? I mean, you're blending your career, you're with this really cool content.
Yeah.
Where you're talking about restaurants, or you're doing some sort of crazy stunt that most guys our age would be sore for days after.
What are you referring to?
I'm talking about, you were ziplining, dude.
Oh, come on, you can do that.
Come on, no, I'd break it. So tell me a little bit about, so you've done some really great things. You've got a team.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how, well, first off, you started, it was your own kind of doing Facebook Live to now a pretty cool team of people. How did that all come together?
Yeah, I just realized, I don't know, maybe it was my ego, but I didn't like being made fun of.
Okay.
You know, on you know, on the platform. It was just rough. Like, Facebook Live is super authentic, and I still think it works really well. But I just wanted a more refined, more produced product. And I decided to hire a production company, a videographer and a production company to do something cool. And actually the first video we ever shot was right here at Leesburg Public House.
Yeah.
It was Mark, who's the head chef, and we were back there cooking some salmon. He had the flames go up. It was super cool. You know, I'm like, it's like a Food Network kind of thing. Well, it was kind of neat. Yeah. You know, we sat down and we kind of talked about his restaurant. It was a quick video. It was maybe a minute or so, 2 minutes, but that was the first one. I did the conch, which was a lot of fun. Love the conch.
Absolutely.
And at that point, it was called Loudoun County Eats. It went from only drone video, which the name of it was Leesburg from Above, and then I went to Loudoun County Eats, and then we did that for maybe 6 months or so, and decided, hey, let's do things that are things other than restaurants, and, you know, breweries or wineries or ziplining.
Yeah, the ziplining was crazy.
So then we changed the name to Inside Loudoun and said, like, hey, if it's cool and inside Loudoun, if it's within the county, let's shoot it. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and so how do people, like, all of a sudden you're showing up at a cool restaurant in this area.
Sure.
The next moment, you are ziplining, doing crazy stunts. How does that all come into play? Do you reach out to these businesses, or are they calling you?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We won't shoot anything that we don't really enjoy.
Okay.
Like, like, if there's a new restaurant and we think people are going to like it, we're going to go try it.
Yeah.
And if we love it, then we'll shoot it. If we had a bad experience, we're not going to go there and give them a bad review and say it's bad, right? We just won't shoot it.
So what the big secret is this: if you show up at the restaurant without the cameras,
right?
It's either going to go one way or the other.
One way or the other. Okay. Yes. You might have a shot to be on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, it's just we're not here to judge any small business.
Yeah.
I mean, we just want to show the ones that we really enjoy frequenting.
And you all have a great time. Like,
we have a blast.
I mean, it's like I get so jealous. Like, I was traveling a lot, and then I would see you and the crew. I mean, who are the other two people?
So
that you work with?
the videographer producer is Ken Dupuy. Ken is a legit videographer producer. He travels all over the country, does high-end video work for Lego. That Lego commercial that was this on the Super Bowl.
Seriously?
He was right in the middle of that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, really cool. He shoots amusement parks all over the country. So he he's on the road.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and we set aside an Inside Loudoun shoot day. It's just 1 day a month where we knock out 4 videos all at once. We go boom, boom, boom. And
So are
really
you changing outfits in that? I have not.
A little bit.
Good for you. Yeah, I felt like weird today because like their video, doing some video of us, and I'm like
I like
wearing
the shirt,
same.
though.
Yeah, I'm
You're
trying to
looking
act
good.
cool, but I did it with the mayor too. So I was trying to be JC Silvey cool.
Greg, what's funny is that nobody will notice what me and you wear, but
Probably not.
But like a girl, like they'll like, whoa, she's wearing the same thing, but nobody really cares about what we wear. So Jesse's the other one. Jesse's my co-host, and she's awesome. She is not my wife. People think that she is my wife.
And I thought that for a while.
You did?
I did, just a little bit,
She's awesome.
Okay.
And we're really good friends.
That's awesome.
I'm good friends with her husband, Damon. She's good friends with my wife, Vianne. But Jesse's a little quirky, right?
Yeah, it looks like she's having a blast.
She'll do things that I don't dare to do.
So you were ice skating recently, right?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
And that was at Ion, I think.
Ion, that was a good shoot.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. And she one of the professional ice dancers kind of grabbed her and kind of did a spin with her and stuff. And, and then we had some really cool video of a gimbal following around the professionals. They got some really good skaters there. I mean, Olympic skaters, and we kind of followed them around. Got some really cool shots, and then people thought that was us for like, like, oh my gosh. I thought that was you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm like, no.
You're professional skaters Olympic skaters. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun. That was a good shoot. Yeah.
So in the time that you've been doing Inside Loudoun, I think you've been instrumental. I really do, in sort of the marketing of our own town.
Oh, thanks.
I told the mayor this today.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and I
think a little plug, huh?
Yeah, a little
Thank
plug.
you.
Yeah, I did. And she loves you back.
She's cool. I do like her.
Yeah, and so we have seen 5-6 years ago where our downtown really wasn't very vibrant. You
exactly.
Come on, I mean, it was kind of and people would be complaining about it. Business owners, they were like, man, the downtown is dead. We've seen a resurgence in the town. What do you think? I guess as somebody that is a real estate agent and you have young families moving into this area, where do you think the turn really was with our downtown? What do you think was the changing point?
I really don't know, but I think a part of it is young entrepreneurs coming in and taking a chance, right? Just like, they've got a vision, they've got an idea, and they see this downtown that has so much potential but is just underperforming, in my opinion. I mean, I know there's some people who love it the way it was and never want it to be other than a small, sleepy southern town with nobody in it. I moved here 22 years ago in 96 when I got hired at United. And I was so excited about downtown Leesburg. I thought I was going to be there all the time. I never went. Ever. Because there was nothing there for me, right? Yeah. And it was disappointing. I thought it was the town was underachieving, grossly underachieving, and had so much more to offer, and probably had a lot of obstacles. I know there's a very vocal minority of people who wanted it to stay that way, and that's fine. They've got their opinion, but we couldn't overcome that until these young entrepreneurs came in and went for it. They started their the restaurants or breweries, whatever it is. And man, I tell you what, there's such a strong demand for that. There's a
buzz in our town now.
Yes.
And I'll be very frank with you. And I told the mayor this earlier, and you'll see it. I was one of those idiots back in the day who, and they had a big town council meeting. I'd go and just listen to myself basically speak, because I like that.
No, really?
I did. Yeah.
Is that why we're doing this?
That's why we're doing this. This is a dream.
Is this something?
It's a midlife crisis happening here.
Well, hey, this is a good one then.
It's fun. Yeah. So real quick, I mean, it was when they wanted to expand the sidewalks, I didn't think that was really, at the time, really you're going to waste that money on expanding the sidewalks. It made a difference. Yeah. And what we saw last year, and I hope it continues if we can get through this coronavirus insanity, is the promotion of closing down the streets for First Friday.
Huge.
You were a big part of trying to make that happen, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I think I'd traveling to Europe every week, right?
Yes.
I would sit outside an outdoor cafe every single day in the summer, in the spring, right? Having like a great experience in Rome or Amsterdam or Brussels or, you name it, Paris, whatever. And they just had this way of like bringing out the restaurant into the middle of the street.
Yeah.
So for a while, I was taking these pictures of wherever I was, and I would post it on my page, and I go, "Is this Leesburg?"
Yes,
nope,
I remember you doing that.
Not Leesburg. Can't do it here in Leesburg. This is way too hard here in Leesburg.
Right.
And obviously that pissed people off. I mean, people were upset with it, but it was just my way of saying, like, listen, like all over the world, people do this. I mean, it's possible. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Are there obstacles? Sure.
Yeah.
But why not? I mean, these great cultures have this ability to come out and set up tables and bring out the food, and you're eating outside even when it's cold. I mean, you show pictures of, Sweden or wherever. I mean, they've got the heaters overhead.
That's
I
right.
mean, so there's no reason why we can't do it. It's just whether or not we want to do it as a town.
So the first time you did this, it was, I think, when was it? Last May?
Yeah, I don't remember.
You remember?
Exactly
Well, I can tell you,
it.
my wife and I, the whole darn town came out. I mean, really, it was the most crazy.
Oh,
thing.
the first Friday that
Friday.
Yes, that was in the fall. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
last
was it in the fall? Okay,
yep,
I'm losing track of time, but but it was truly amazing, and you were one of the first real true advocates to try to make that happen. And again, kudos to you.
A lot of people, that definitely had the backing of those young entrepreneurs in downtown Leesburg. And they're not all young. I don't want to classify them, but I mean, they're newer, right? They're the ones who have just come in recently and say, hey, we want to do things a little bit differently here in downtown, promote it a little bit more, and it can only get better. I mean, that was a really cool event. We shot a video of it. We're walking around, we're going in and having a glass of wine, and it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. I would love to see them do it. I would love to see them expand it to a couple more streets. Yeah. And just show how cool Leesburg is, because people are going to come for that one event and go, this is a really neat town. I'm going to come back next week and I'm going to bring my neighbors with me, and we're going to have dinner at the wine kitchen or whatever it is, right? And that's how you promote it. You can't promote things, and I don't think you can promote it enough. I mean, I think that's maybe an issue that Leesburg has had in the past. I mean, just even the flower show, right? They're like, they talk about, well, it's already big enough. Like, we don't need to promote it. It's already big. I'm like, well, I tell you what, last time I looked, Coca-Cola still, Coke still spends billions of dollars on branding.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So who are you that says that we're good enough?
That's right.
Or big enough? I mean, like, all right, maybe the flower show doesn't need to be any bigger, but hey, let's promote it so that people.
But there are other events
exactly.
in our town, and you never even hear about it.
There could be one a week.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, really, this town, the economic growth could be tremendous every week.
Yes.
We got to get through this darn coronavirus stuff.
Totally.
So,
I agree.
Well, you know what? You and I see eye to eye on so much relative to the town and relative to our county as well. I mean, it's so robust. You have done a lot of episodes, I guess.
Yeah.
What is have you figured out or thought, like, so far over these past couple of years, what your most favorite event was?
Not specifically.
Okay.
I have one. We had a blast when we went up to Harper's Ferry Adventure Park in zip line. That was like a fun day. We spent the afternoon zip lining. We wrapped up and went right over to the brewery.
Sweet.
That overlook. Have you been out there yet? The brewery, Harper's Ferry Brewery, overlooking the Potomac. Oh, it's just really cool. And it was just a great day. We had an afternoon, in the trees, kind of zipping around, and then we, sat down at a picnic table, had a couple cold local brews.
Yeah, that's great.
It was a lot of fun. I love wrapping up the shoot day like that. It was
that's
a good
cool.
time. Yeah,
I would enjoy that, but I'm going to tell you a secret about myself. You ready?
I'm ready, Greg.
Okay. I'm allergic to beer.
That's a problem.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the hops, I think. And it makes, so if we were to have a beer, and I could drink a beer.
Yeah, but it'd be
you take
bad.
off the earphones, my right ear explodes.
Yeah. So, what about cider?
Even cider.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. Yeah.
Wine?
Wine?
You like wine?
I'm allergic.
Oh my gosh!
You
Ooh.
get congested.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. So if you wonder, like, Greg, man, you loosen
Greg,
up, buddy.
Greg, we're
some water.
Sticking with water there.
Boom. Okay. So anyway, not enough about me because we're talking about you today.
No, I want to hear more about you, Greg.
Oh, we'll talk. Hey, listen,
I want to hear more about
your whole story. What time is it? Okay, we got how many hours?
Because I have to admit, Greg, I'm jealous of your radio voice. So.
Well, I'm jealous of your looks. So together we're good, man. I've got the voice. I've got the voice for radio. You've got the whole freaking package. You sticker.
I just can't stand the way my voice sounds. I listen to that back and I'm like, oh, that's this grating. I'm like,
no, it's good stuff.
I think
don't get me started because I'm going to go rogue here. You want me to do my radio voice?
I thought that's what we're listening to right now is your radio voice because it sounded really good.
In a world, there's Inside Loudoun and JC Silvey. He is the king of Leesburg.
Dude, that's good.
Okay, so enough of that.
That is like
my wife is going to watch this, and she's going to be like, Greg, you are a freaking idiot.
Did you do that for the mayor?
I did not.
All right.
Hold on.
Feel special.
Ready? Let's do something for the mayor. You ready for this?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, let's just have fun for just 1 minute.
Yeah.
She's the mayor of Leesburg, Kelly Burke, the queen of the castle. She owns the town with Marty Martinez as her guest at town council meetings. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
You like that?
I
okay,
like it.
Enough.
You've been practicing that for a while.
I have. Yeah, I have. Okay, we're going back. So there's a few.
Good.
We got a couple of more questions before we wrap it up. I have too much fun with you, man, and we may have to do a part 2 eventually.
Yeah.
So, going back to your history just a little bit, what advice, I guess, would you have for young people who maybe want to, get a career in the military or aviation or even the small business? It's kind of a loaded question, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of parts to that. I do feel strongly that all young people have an obligation to serve their country some way, somehow. It doesn't have to be in the military. That's great. I think our country needs young leaders, right? Like identifying young men and women who want to lead, who want to take responsibility for that and want to be in that position to do things that you probably aren't going to get a lot of attention for. You're going to be someplace in some part of the world and nobody's going to know what you're doing, but the country needs people like that at a young age. So I think that's cool. And if you're not inclined to be in the military, I think there are a lot of different ways to serve your country, but I what does Israel do? That you turn 18, you got 2 years, you could do something for your country, right? Probably, I think Switzerland might be the same way. So, I think that's neat. I wish we could do something like that. I know it's not likely, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Starting a small business, I am a little bit well, I'm just down on higher education, maybe. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Putting everybody into this box that you have to go to a 4-year college to be successful.
Right.
As an 18-year-old kid here in Loudoun County, where we're all like super competitive. We're all like want our kids to go to Harvard and be astronauts.
It's a shame that we are that way, right?
It is a shame. And listen, I'm not saying I wasn't like that, or I'm not.
We all felt that way,
right? But it's not healthy. It's not good for us. It's not good for our kids. I mean, there's so many great things that they could be doing, our kids could be doing, that have nothing to do with a 4-year college and becoming $200,000 in debt or something nuts. For something they come out and they're really not qualified to do anything. Right.
Yeah.
That's
who
hard.
knows really at 18 what you really want to do?
Tough. Right. Yeah. Great trades around here. I mean, you could have a great business here in Loudoun County. I mean, if you're an electrician, a carpenter, a plumber, HVAC. I mean, learn the trade. Work for somebody as an apprentice. Do it for free. If you're living in your parents' basement anyways, right, for free. Like, why not be an apprentice for somebody for a couple years?
Save up some cash.
Yeah, save some cash. Learn a trade. Learn a skill. It's the way people used to do it years ago. 100 years ago, you go through the apprenticeship and you learn the trade and you learn the craft, and then you'd be out on your own. And building a small business here in Loudoun County is so lucrative. I mean, you could do really well.
It was interesting, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it's been a month or two now, we had somebody somebody reached out, said, hey, I'm trying to help my kid get a job.
Is this the one we got a lot of blowback? And
The poor lady got a little bit of blowback, right? I mean, we're here to help.
You're right.
I mean, I know, we are, you especially, very out there in the public, and then people may reach out to you from time to time saying, hey, I need help with X, Y, Z. Any advice if somebody's to come to you or to say, hey, I wish I could utilize your network?
Yeah, I'm always open to having conversations, right? Like, I love the idea of collaborating.
Right.
I don't there's enough for everybody.
Sure.
Like you and I run competing Facebook pages in a way, right?
We're friends, man.
We're friends, but in a way
it's exciting. You are like, woo. I mean, doing so much cool content.
We produce content, but what you do is you engage really well. Like,
I stir the pot a little bit sometimes.
And I love that. I was just telling Mark that when I was sitting here. I was like telling him about what you do. And it's like, and Greg kind of like
I pokes the bear.
Pokes the bear, and I love it. And we don't do that really a lot. Like,
you're the friendly page.
We're the friendly page. You're the one who kind of comes out and you're not
Every
afraid.
once in a while, it's like, I'm going to push the envelope, and I watch it evolve because I want to know what do people think?
I love it. And that's what that's why I like your page. I read it, and I don't probably engage that much with it, although I am one of your top fans in there.
Are you really?
I got one of those badges.
I may have badged you, yeah. I was like, hold on, you got a badge JC. I might get a few likes because of them.
I didn't know you could do that, actually. I thought it was just because I was like engaging.
It may be because you go and you stalk on me, and I stalk on yours too. Yeah. I got to see what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. Like, so yeah, we do kind of the same thing, right? We're still putting out content, Loudoun County, hyper local content.
Yeah.
But there's enough for everybody, and I love the idea of collaborating. If somebody wants to reach out to me and with an idea of like, hey, let's do this, or let's shoot that. I'm like, sometimes it won't work. We look at it, and who knows? It might not work, but I'm always up for
some feedback, right?
Yeah, I'm always up for at least listening, at least having a beer.
Good stuff. Right? Hey, listen, that's always good. So we're about we're kind of getting close to wrapping it up here, but what do you think we can expect next from your content?
Man, you're that's
or
tough.
Do you not want to give a
no actually we have done a couple recordings on a podcast also.
Okay, cool.
I think that's something that we would like to do, because just like what we did here, like Greg, we like sat here and chatted for like 30 minutes, and we got to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah,
you can't do that on Facebook, right? Nobody wants to watch it. Facebook is like a 20-second drive-by content.
Right. Yep.
And unless it's super cool, people aren't going to stop swiping.
No.
And even if they do, even if it's cool, they're going to stop for 20 seconds. And there's all these great stories that we want to tell that take a lot longer than 20 seconds. Like,
Absolutely.
we want to sit down and talk to people about it. So we're kicking around the idea of doing a podcast also, or maybe longer episodes. And we'd love to have you on too.
Hey man, I may go rogue though.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool, because like, God knows I can't do that.
There's so much.
You can go rogue.
There's so much. There's so much content. And it goes back to when I was 12 years old. And
I know.
And I carried a tape recorder around interviewing people all around.
How many tapes do you have? Like
hundreds in the basement.
Of interviews?
And my wife says, what are you doing holding on to that stuff? And I said, and I realized it very young. I said, I'm going to hold on to this stuff because at some point I'm going to release it to my children. So my son, he's the only one that wants to know. He's like, Dad, I want you to write a book about your life. It's very interesting, but it may only be to my son.
But that's okay.
Who gives a
exactly.
crud, right?
Right.
But the tapes will be released. They're like the Nixon tapes. It's going to be amazing. It really will. And I'll let you listen to some of them.
I can't wait, Greg. Put me on the list. I want to, give me rights to that.
I used to call radio stations, and this is when I was slightly studly.
Yeah.
And I would dedicate songs to the girls I would date. I would. It's very emotional. And then, like, other ex-girlfriends would get jealous.
Oh, my God,
It was
Greg.
fun. Okay, let me stop. How much time do we have? Okay. My wife is just, listening to this and shaking her head now.
We're at the point where all your production guys
we're starting to steer down the wrong way.
Texting each other and say, all right, let me get
so this is the only area where I'm going to dip into the political fray just a minute. So, JC, we've been friends for a couple of years now.
We have?
I say, just acquaintances, right? This is probably the most in-depth that we've talked about your whole life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, and I've been thinking to myself, okay, here's this guy. He's connected with all of Loudoun County. People recognize you. You got the you've got the, kind of that broadcaster's look to you.
Don't.
Okay. You're humble. But I think that there could be a budding political career.
Oh my
here.
God, Greg.
Yes,
No.
I really do. I think we can have you run for office. And we won't talk about political affiliation.
All right, good.
We aren't going to go there. But I'm just saying, you've got the package, and I could be your campaign manager.
Is that where I think that's what you want? You don't want to run. You want to be a campaign manager, so you could be behind the scenes pushing all the buttons.
I like the game.
The game.
Right? And we'll just have you out there as the face. So tell me, have you ever thought about it?
Never.
Okay.
And it's something that I know people think that that's the end game for me is like, that's why I'm doing this. And like, all right, we know, like, when are you going to run? Or, hey, you're just trying to prep yourself to run. I'm like, believe me, I have no desire to do that. I mean, that's like, the thought of that is painful. I've sat at those town council meetings and I give them a lot of credit because those are just rough, right? Like, that's like a long night. I don't find there's no appeal to me.
Okay.
None. But I respect what they do, and I'm interested in the results, and I'm interested in how Leesburg grows and gets better and works in the business environment. I'm interested in all those things. But for me, and public office, no zero. I'd rather post a picture of a restaurant, an outdoor restaurant in Zurich or something like that, and say, hey, why can't we do this?
Absolutely. Right? Well, you are a Renaissance man making change for Leesburg and Loudoun. So, any final words, man? We've been here for about almost an hour chatting.
That's cool. Yeah, an hour, man.
I hope people listen to this.
You know what? I'm willing to bet there might be one or two still listening to this.
Yeah.
At least. So that would be impressive. And it would be our wives.
It will be our wives. And my father.
Oh, yeah.
My mom.
Good. All right, cool.
Yeah, maybe a next school teacher.
All right. That'd be
Mrs.
fair.
Mary Kay Downs, my English teacher. She's probably like,
proud
I
of you.
cannot believe it. Greg's finally living his dream. It's called a midlife crisis.
I'm good with that.
So tell me a little bit. Final words, final thoughts about Leesburg.
No, I'm really excited about Leesburg. I love living here. I love selling real estate here. It's easy. I mean, a lot of millennials are coming in and young people are coming in and want to take part. They're all about experiences. They just don't want to buy that 5,000 square foot home out in Western Loudoun that's on 10 acres anymore. That doesn't appeal to them anymore.
Right.
They want to be downtown. They love it.
Yeah.
They want to go down and have a beer, a glass of wine, a good dinner, see their friends and walk around. I mean, that's really what they want, and I think that's great. The town is at that point where they're ready to give it to them.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
Well, thank you, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, as I wrap it up here, I'll just share a few things and don't tear up. But it has really been fun getting to know you. We don't talk often, right? We get together and we have lunch here usually every once a year, if that. But we do banter back and forth through Messenger. But it's been great getting to know you. I really appreciate everything that you're doing.
Oh, you bet.
For our town, incredibly likable guy.
Thanks, Greg. You too.
A lot of fun. Thank you. And I think greater success for both of us. I think the advice that you've given to young people is tremendous here today, and hopefully some of them will hear that, or their parents will at least share it with them. So, thank you so much. JC. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you in more episodes.
Inside Loudoun.
Inside Loudoun, yes.
Awesome.
You got it. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Do we shake our hands? It's coronavirus. There we go. All right. Thanks. All About Leesburg and Loudoun's mission is to bring our community together through meaningful content promoting the small business owner, community and civic leaders, musicians, comedians, sports figures, and everything that makes Leesburg and Loudoun great.